Yes, man. Estamos aqui diretamente do estúdio 98 na Jamaica brasileira, São Luís, Maranhão, onde o Zinn, direto da Califórnia, acabou de fazer uma sessão aí. Logo mais, ou daqui a alguns dias, vocês vão poder conferir nas plataformas do Zinn essa magnífica performance que ele fez. E vamos saber aqui só rapidinho duas questões sobre a gigante carreira desse cara. Tipo, você sabia que ele já assinou com a gravadora da grandíssima dupla Sly Dunbar da Jamaica? Talking about the friendship and connection with Sly and Robbie.
Yeah, so I was first introduced to Sly and Robbie when they came to San Francisco, California, to perform at a legendary venue called Slim's, long gone. But I was introduced mainly to Sly by my dear friend Mikey Chung, the guitar player, who's since passed away. That night after the show, I gave Sly, Mikey, and Nambo Robinson, and Bubbler, Franklin Wall. I gave them a ride back to the hotel, and when everybody exited the car and before they went to the hotel, Sly says, "Rusty man, we see you in Jamaica." I said, "I don't know how I'm going to get to Jamaica." He says, "Don't worry, man. Mikey go and take care of it, man." So a year later, I find myself in Kingston, Jamaica, recording a record with Sly, Mikey, Boris Gardner. Robbie Shakespeare was supposed to be the bass player on the record, but we were told he would not be on the island, but he was. And it was a big problem because I'm a loyal person. Once I give Boris the job, I don't take it away. Boris was the bass player. I say, Robbie's here, but we were told that he would not be here. But I had to stick with Boris. So Sly, Boris, Robbie Lynn, Mikey Chung, Scully Sims, the great Scully Sims and Rastaman.
Scully Sims?
Yeah, I did a whole record called Manifestation. So you have to hear the story. I sang one song and I felt like a teenager. My knees I was so nervous, so nervous. Here I'm in this room with all these legends, so nervous. So after this first song, I have to go outside and get some fresh air. And there's Sly. And Sly says, because see, you have to realize, when Mikey introduced me to Sly didn't even know I was a musician. He just thought, oh, you're Mikey's friend. He doesn't know me. All of a sudden he hears me sing. So he's outside and he looks at me and he goes, "Rusty." Suck his teeth. He says, "We never know you sing so wicked, you know." And he said, "Who wrote the song?" I said, "That's my song." "Oh, wicked, man." He says, "I man want to send you some tune, you know." So when I returned back to the United States, he sent me rhythms, Sly and Robbie rhythms, and I voiced 2 songs for Taxi Gang. Release a taxi. So then Sly and I, we just became really, really good friends. And whenever he would come back to California, I'd go to his hotel room. We discuss music, talk about Studio One and all the great Jamaican drummers, and talk about American music. And Sly, he was so helpful to me because I didn't even ask him to do this. He went to England and he told David Rodigan, he says, "Check out my friend, Rusty Zinn." He says, "He's the greatest reggae singer in the world." That's what Sly Dunbar said about me. It's crazy. It's crazy, right? We know this is not true, but that's the kind of friend he was, So then David Rodigan started to play my music on the BBC. And so it was really Sly that I was friendly with. Robbie was actually angry with me because he didn't record on my record. But see, like I say, I'm old school. If I give you a job to do, I'm not going to cancel you. My word is what I have. So I said, Boris Gardner, he's the bass player, okay? So Robbie, he was angry with me for years. He would see me at Sly and Robbie shows and he wouldn't even look at me. He just wouldn't. And then one day he comes to me and he says, "Rusty, how come you not use me upon your session?" I said, "Well, we were told that you wouldn't be on the island." And I'm not going to tell you the name. I can't tell you the name of the guy who told us Robbie won't be here. But Robbie says, "Well, how come once you found out I was on the island, why didn't you use me?" And I said, "Because I'm a mafia man." I said, "If I give Boris Gardner my word that he's on my session, I'm not going to fire him." And Robbie looked at me and said, "Cool, man." And from that time on, then Robbie was cool with me because he respected that I was loyal. So that was my connection with Sly and Robbie. And Sly was, I want to tell you something funny though. One last thing about Sly. I used to have a manager. His name was Rob Bell, and he's still alive. He's an older Englishman. and he used to work for Island Records and Trojan Records way back in the day. And he was my manager for many years. And when we first started to work together, he wanted to get promotional material together to promote me. And you in the industry, you like to have quotes from legends, quotes saying something nice about you. I said, Sly, can we get a quote? Yeah, man, no problem. So he sends a quote to my manager, email. Says, this is the quote. UB40 is good, but Rusty is bad. And so my manager says, we can't use that. We can't use that quote, So then Sly come with Rusty Zinn, the golden voice of rap. So I hold on to that. I miss Sly. As you know, he passed away. And I miss him so much, man. He was such a wonderful guy. Yeah. Amen.